Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras. This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
So far, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely called into Cyril's father, Dr. Gohel, who gave us insight into his son's upbringing and clearly made us understand that his son was very much interested in Achimota School. Unfortunately for his son, the school did not accept him. Oh, Lord. He's dead. He's dead. Oh, gosh. Anyway, maybe we'll consider... Cyril, your daughters, right? Hello, Cyril. Hello. Your daughter?
Yeah, listeners, your fool is lying. He's not taking his medication.
We heard this loud and clear from Doc. And you know the part that did it for me? Odele, his father said that he was hoping his son would become a computer
engineer,
geek,
computer programmer. He actually showed a picture.
Look at him.
He actually showed a picture to us where he was behind this big box computer.
I even branded it and said he's into brand marketing.
Ladies and gentlemen,
son, this is your how did Jesus say? This is
my beloved son, whom I am.
Whom I am well pleased.
He said, son, your mother.
Son, your mother.
So it is your Achimota you want to insult me. You want to insult me because you want to Achimota.
When we took Cyril to St. Peter's, he said to us, Daddy, why have you brought us to St. Peter's when there are schools like Achimota School?
Daddy. Yeah.
You people didn't hear correctly. Your ear they worry.
Your boy drop keys, so
bro. Two versus one. I know go fight. I know how I go get them. I go isolate them and eliminate them one by one.
That's all.
But yes. the choir bits excite because I was also a choir star. I sang alto in church.
Lucifer also. Was a choir star. So.
Oh Lord, I help in ages past. Oh God, I help in ages past. Oh, for years to come.
You pay the bills. Pay the bills. Hey, Thursday. Tantalizing
Thursday. Listen, every time we eat, food and sugars are trapped between our teeth, leading to tooth decay and gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. And that's why you need to brush your teeth every morning and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, which gives your teeth the protection you need, leaving you with 10 times stronger teeth. There are two highly effective variants or other highly effective variants of Pepsodent on the market, the charcoal and the herbal. The charcoal is made with a fine blend of activated charcoal and lemon essence. The charcoal white, the Pepsodent charcoal white, gently polishes away the tooth stains and naturally restores a bright smile. And for herbal lovers, you need to try the Pepsodent Herbal Toothpaste, formulated from carefully selected natural extracts and uniquely blended herbs. Pepsodent Herbal releases, repairs, and protects gum tissues whilst giving you strong teeth. Now, you can get Pepsodent at any shop near you or call the customer care center number. It's toll-free on 0800 or 0800 2000, that's 2030. Always remember to brush your teeth in the morning and in the nights before you sleep as well. Pepsodent, every smile matters. Now discover a world of innovation, a world of luxury, and a world many of us dream about owning. Discover a world of Bang & Olufsen. Now it's a particularly true brand in the ever-evolving realm of high-end electronics that you might love to own. Locate the showroom right here in Accra, Ghana, Atlantic Towers, Liberation Road, where each passing day, month, and year, a variety of drool-worthy new electronic gadgets, ranging from exquisite home theater, speakers, headphones, TV sets, and soundbar products, are released. Bang & Olufsen, like no one else. Type 2 diabetes is on the convo this morning. Now, of course, we are talking about, or we are celebrating or creating awareness on men's health because the month of June is slated for that. So, in addition to that, this also slipped us by. The month of June is Blood Donation Month. Dr. Kelvin, I'm right? Yes, Blood Donation Month. And as part of that, Doc will be telling us about an activation coming up very soon. It's a blood donation exercise. The rarest blood type is every drop okay, the sentence confused me, but I like the way it's written. Is the one, well, the rarest blood type is the one not available at the moment. A patient needs it most. Every drop counts. Every drop saves. Give blood, save lives. It's happening on Saturday, the 24th of June, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Violet Medical, right?
Yes.
In collaboration with the Kwabenya Traditional Authority. More insights. Where is it happening?
So at the clinic facility, Violet Medical Center, it's off the Musuku roundabout at Kwabenya. So,
Okay.
Yeah, everybody should come over and donate some blood.
Musuku? Okay, Musuku. Okay, yeah.
There's only one Musuku. The name is the name vibrates.
Yeah. Well, information right on the screen: 0302 410 630, 0302 410 630, or 0540 599 383. Encouraging all of you to take part of this, especially even those who are living in the surrounding areas. In terms of proximity, it's close to you as well. For those who want to help save a life, it will be very important if you can also drive on there. So don't forget the blood donation exercise, 24th of June, coming next week, Saturday, if I got that right. Well, this morning we are focusing on conversation, drifting off our regular masterclass on music, but masterclass on health. Very important. After all, without health, what else matters? Nothing.
Nothing.
So, Doc is here with us again. Last week, recap, we had great conversation talking about sex and health, touched on quite a number of things, interesting. But, of course, also getting to know your diabetes status is very important and how you can help prevent type 2 diabetes. Doc, good morning again and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Jay. Good morning, guys.
Yes.
Morning.
Good morning.
This morning, we're excited because we're eating buffalo, so bullfruit.
I didn't eat today.
Proudly brought to you by Olele Salvador. The bullfruit had a lot of sugar.
Oh, Charlie.
What wasn't the case for me was that I had drank Coke a lot last night. And I was even getting worried myself. So only to top it up with.
So we should start your obituary. Or
Only to start with conversations on sugar. But before we even move on, let's understand what diabetes in itself is. Before we even understand type 2.
Okay.
Type 1 and type 2.
Oh, yes. There's even a type 3. But
pre-diabetes.
Exactly. And then there's the gestational diabetes. So there are different kinds of diabetes. So basically, when we say diabetes, just diabetes, then we are talking about a disorder of sugar metabolism. So your body is not able to process sugar in the way it's supposed to. And so you end up with elevated or high sugar in your blood. Now, we don't want sugar in the blood. Sugar is needed in the cells. The cell is where all the activity goes on. I mean, so when you're about to move, when you're thinking, everything you're doing, it's energy that is being processed or being utilized within the cell. And sugar is the fuel that drives the engine. So we don't want the fuel in the. So it's like pouring petrol on the street. It's useless. It will rather cause people to slip and fall and end up with problems, right? So sugar in the blood is like fuel pouring on the street. We need the fuel in the tanks, which are the cells. So diabetes is a challenge with insulin, where it's not able to push the sugar from the should I say the tankers into the fuel tank, which are the cells. So insulin is the challenge here. Now the different types of diabetes sort of speak to the how the challenge comes about. And I mentioned insulin. The fact that the body is not able to process sugar does not always mean that you don't have insulin. So that's where the different types come in. So in type 1 diabetes, your body is not able to produce insulin at all.
Oh.
So that's the challenge with the type 1 diabetes. With type 2 diabetes, your body is actually producing insulin. In fact, in some cases, it's producing too much insulin. But the insulin is not effectively doing what it's supposed to do because of other challenges, which is what we are going to be talking about. But one of the key issues that prevent the insulin from working is actually fat. So that's why as you grow bigger in terms of weight, as you get bigger, your risk of diabetes also goes up. And that's why a situation we call insulin resistance. So those are the two classical types, the type 1 and the type 2. But there are the subtypes like the type 3 I mentioned, which is also known as gestational diabetes. When you are pregnant, none of you is going to be pregnant, but when a woman is pregnant, the demand for sugar kind of goes up. So the body tends to mobilize a lot of sugar into the blood. And so if you came to me at the clinic and I did a blood sugar check, your blood sugar will be high. So that situation is considered gestational diabetes. in a way, it's a snapshot into your future as a woman. If you do develop diabetes during pregnancy, most of the time it will clear, it will go back to normal after pregnancy. But it tells you that your risk of developing diabetes later is much, much higher. But you today, it's not about the women, so we'll keep it to the guys.
Yes. Okay, so that highlights the types.
Yes.
Oh, quite interesting. I was asking something that just slipped my thoughts on this. Oh my days.
Is the sugar working?
but whilst you collect, so there's another type of diabetes. So that's why I said if you just mention diabetes by itself, most of the time we are referring to the sugar one. But there's also diabetes insipidus, which is a problem of water metabolism.
Okay.
Hey.
Yes. So then the people with that condition tend to have, they are not able to regulate their body's water, so they have challenges with respect to that. But that is not so common. So usually when people say diabetes, it's usually accepted that it's referring to the sugar one. You know, but as a medic, I have to know that there are two different types of diabetes.
Let's talk about the water one. Like how is it like? What are the symptoms for that? As
So
well?
the symptoms are pretty much the same, and that's why they are called. They have similar names.
Okay.
You know, but so let's go back a bit into history. You know, back in the day, being a doctor was actually not an exciting thing, because to actually diagnose diabetes, you have to taste somebody's urine. Exactly.
Wow.
I'm happy I wasn't a doctor at that time.
Wow. Y'all gonna taste Cyril's urine?
So it actually,
And the buffaloes.
Bitter lemon?
so it actually tastes the urine, right?
Yeah.
Now, if the urine tasted sweet, then it was called mellitus. So diabetes mellitus.
Oh, Charlie.
Yes. And if the urine didn't taste sweet, it tasted kind of like water, then it was insipidus. You know, so those are Latin references
medical
to
terms,
the exactly. You know, so the insipidus is because they have poor water metabolism, so they tend to lose a lot of water. So their urine is very, very dilute, so it tastes like water. So that's basically what it means. You know,
And
whereas,
that's not good.
no, it's not good. It's not good. You need to retain some amount of water, otherwise you die from dehydration.
Oh, right.
You know,
Right.
And then the other side is because they are failing to regulate their body sugar. They are losing a lot of sugar through urine. In fact, if you actually go to the villages, that's one of the ways they diagnose diabetes themselves at home. You know, they tell that. I mean, when I went to the farm, I went to urinate, and exactly. Then they'll come to you and they actually complain that why are there ants around my urine? You know, so that tells you that there's something going on. You know, so yes, so
Sugar and moopy.
yeah, so ants are attracted to the urine of a diabetic because of the sugar in there. You're not supposed to have sugar in your urine. So once ants are coming around your urine, there's a problem. It's a classic, like you need to do something about it. Don't wait to get to that point, first of all.
Wow.
So have that. Which is the most common?
So the mellitus, which is why, so the sugar diabetes is the common one, which is why when somebody says I have diabetes, naturally everybody knows that you are talking about the sugar diabetes, you know. But as a medic, I need to be able to make sure that it's not the other one, so that we don't treat wrongly.
So even with the sugar one, which amongst that, because you mentioned about 3 of them or so,
Okay.
which one is common amongst, and which age?
Okay, so generally speaking, the type 2 is the common type of diabetes. And the type 2 is also known as a lifestyle diabetes.
Okay.
And it's typically found, so let me be careful here. In the past, it was typically an adult problem. In fact, an old people problem. But as time has gone on, the age is coming down gradually. Now it's you find it in the younger adults. And unfortunately, and I'm sad to say this, we are actually finding type 2 diabetes in children as well. Yes. And my wife is a pediatrician, so I know this is firsthand. Now, we are actually getting children developing type 2 diabetes because of another condition called childhood obesity.
Processed foods.
Well, processed foods, and again, lifestyle. Our children, when we were growing up, Charlie, we were playing Pilolo, police and thief. Charlie, what
Australia for beatings.
I'm telling you, and stay and all those things. Today, first of all, there's no space to even go and play those games. So most of our children are sitting in the house.
Trapped.
Exactly. Video games, phone, tab, that's what they are doing. So, and they're eating processed foods, like you rightly said. So a lot of our children are putting on too much weight. They are not expending enough energy. So they are piling on the weight. And I already mentioned that fat inhibits or prevents insulin from working. So now we are getting children developing type 2 diabetes as well. On the other hand, type 1 diabetes is more common in children or much younger people. This is because it's typically caused by damage to the pancreas. And now this damage is mostly autoimmune. Autoimmune means that your own body is sort of fighting itself, and sometimes it ends up attacking and destroying the pancreas. The pancreas is where insulin is produced. So since the body cannot produce insulin, then it means that your sugar cannot be pushed into the cells where they are needed. So the sugar stays in the blood.
Wow.
So that's type 1 diabetes. And it's typically, like I said, in children. You can find it in babies. It's quite difficult to diagnose, but you can pick it up in childhood. Sometimes the distraction doesn't happen early. It's slow, and it starts somewhere teen years or early adults. So you usually find the age of incidence early 20s all the way down to baby, like toddler. Whereas the lifestyle diabetes, which is the type 2, was from much older adults. But like I said, now the age has come so far down, and it's not a good thing at all.
Okay, so what are the early signs of type 2 diabetes?
Okay.
What do you see first? Maybe a lot of hair, dark skin, a lot of smiling. Maybe a person likes wearing brown shirts. Hey, am I describing something I'm seeing here? Maybe black jeans. I don't know. Those things.
All right, so
Lucifer away.
all right, so let's break it down. Before we talk about the symptoms, let's break it down so that you understand what the symptoms do or how come the symptoms come about. So when the sugar stays in the blood, it causes problems. The first challenge is that remember from back in school, is it chemistry or physics? Diffusion.
Yes.
Now what's it called? That's osmosis.
Please, wait, Dr. Calvin, hold on, please. Only they break it down. I want to understand diffusion. As he's brought himself, because they've been discussing a lot of science.
Oh, you explain.
Oh, I just had water molecules.
Anyway,
so
diffusion is from the related to concentration. It's about
water
it's not just water.
But water molecules they inside.
No.
Oh.
Diffusion is about
what
concentration.
you say it's got to do with concentration.
It's got to do with concentration.
You know the molecules.
What is a wall? A wall. It's got to do with upright standing.
Thank you.
Water
not the inside. Water the inside. Boss, let's go.
Okay, so diffusion is where solids or solid particles that have dissolved in the water.
Oh, water, no?
So it moves from the region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So now, if you're
science, you. Oh yeah. B for what?
B for bad.
B for bad.
All right. So now, when the sugar builds up in the blood, the concentration obviously goes up. As a result of that, it begins to diffuse out of the blood into areas where you don't want sugar to go to, like under the skin. We don't need sugar under the skin, like in the urine. We don't need sugar in urine, because you have to understand that the sugar particles are actually big. Even though you can't see them in the blood, they are big. And so when they are forced into some of these places, they cause damage to these vessels or these areas. It can be diffused into the eye, so the lens of the eye, for instance, and so many other places. So as a result of this, some of the complications or the symptoms now begin. When sugar now enters the urine, the concentration of sugar in the urine begins to go up, right? Then osmosis, which is now the movement of water. Now, because the sugar in the urine is high, it begins to draw water onto itself. So one of the first symptoms that you begin to notice if you are diabetic or if you are close to developing diabetes, that you begin to urinate more frequently. You see, so people who are diabetic or people who are at risk of diabetes, they are urinating like 10, sometimes 15 times during the day. They are waking up about 4 or 5 times in the night to go and urinate. And so
no, that thing, you don't scare us, because me once in a while,
No, you said 10, 15 times. We are good.
Oh no, we in the like early morning maybe, because if I drink a lot of
15
water.
times in the morning.
Oh no.
That one you said 4 or
15
5
times in the
times.
morning. I'm just saying that.
I mean, do it once.
Should we close the show and rush
Become
you?
a habit for me. I would wake up because I drink water a lot.
Let's close the show and rush you.
I drink water, so does it mean that when I wake up at maybe 2 a.m. to go and urinate am I?
So, if you are urinating twice, it's not a big deal. But you see, the diabetic or the uncontrolled diabetic would urinate once, twice, 3, 4 times, and each time you go and urinate, it's a lot of urine that you are urinating.
Wow.
You see, it's not as if, you know, sometimes, and it happens every now and then, when you just go and urinate and you come and sit down, you still have the urge to go and pee again. And you go there and only small people
some
come.
last thoughts.
That's not too bad, you know. But where you go and urinate,
And
plenty,
more urine.
and you come back, and then a few minutes later, I have to go and urinate another plenty urine again. It should tell that there's something going on. Now, there's also the confusion, and you actually mentioned it, that some people drink a lot of water. Of course, our environment is a bit warm, so people drink a lot of water. But now the question is, are you drinking the water out of habit, or are you drinking the water because you are excessively thirsty? Because whilst you are urinating plenty, you are losing water. And so you are going to become thirsty. So if you are drinking water because you are excessively thirsty, then that should now begin to draw your mind to something. You see, so now those are the first two classic symptoms: frequent urination and then thirst. Yes, thirst and increased intake of water. Then we have the other aspects where because the sugar is being deposited under the skin. I mentioned the diffusion of sugar under the skin. People, your risk of infections also begin to go up. And this is for two reasons. Number one, sugar under the skin is rich food. So if you have a small cut on your skin, the bacteria are going to enjoy the sugar.
Right.
You see, because sugar is a medium for them to, it's like ants. When they see sugar, they'll rush to it. Bacteria also enjoy sugar because there's sort of energy for them as well. So they'll quickly go there. So you begin to develop frequent, recurrent boils. You know, under the armpit, in the groin. Once you shave, every time you shave, you're going to cut yourself a bit. So, and it quickly becomes an abscess. Exactly. You know, so recurrent infections are also a very important symptom of diabetes. Again, if you are female, since we have some women listening as well, you are going to probably develop frequent yeast infection. You see, so if you come to me with candidiasis infection, first time, second time, by the third time, it's either you are diabetic or you are doing something you're not supposed to be doing. So we need to now check for diabetes, because you cannot have candidiasis 3 times in, let's say, 2-3 months. It doesn't make sense. Right. You see, so what's going on that's causing you that? So that's the first reason being that the sugar is under the skin. The second thing is that because the sugar in the blood is preventing the blood cells from actually doing what they are supposed to do. The white cells are like the military. They are the ones supposed to protect your body. Because they are not doing what they are supposed to do, they are unable to defend your body, and that puts you at risk of the recurrent infections. So those are the three classic symptoms of diabetes, actually. So increased urinating, increased thirst, recurrent infection. There are other symptoms as well that may come up as we go along, like weight loss, weight gain, all those things can come up.
So these particular ones you just mentioned, right? These are like pre-diabetes, or
so this is diabetes.
So this is when you are actually like diagnosed.
Yes.
So
at this point, if you come to me and you have these classic symptoms, you are diabetic until proven otherwise. So we need to do the investigation to confirm that you are diabetic. Okay. And then do something about it.
So what I'm more interested in is, before you actually get to this point where you are urinating frequently, you are getting thirsty frequently, what would be the symptoms to look out for?
So the symptoms are the same.
The
symptoms are the same, but maybe the intensity of the symptoms.
Okay.
So you see, it doesn't develop overnight, so it's not something that you might even draw exactly.
Right.
Because assuming your morning to afternoon, morning to evening, you're urinating, let's say 3 times, and now it's 5 times. It's really not a big deal. Then a few years later, now it's 6-7 times. So you actually don't process it like that, because it didn't just happen overnight. Then suddenly in the night you wake up. You used to wake up like once, now you're waking up like 3-4 times. Some people would think of it like, oh, it's normal, I'm growing older. So they never really go and do anything about it. And this is actually why I talk about this quite a lot. Medical check is important. Like at least every year you need to go and do some form of medical evaluation. You see, unfortunately, we have turned our hospitals to curation centers. It should also be a preventive center. We need to go every year. If you can afford it, every half year, you probably should go and run a couple of tests to see what your status is. And the blood sugar check is usually something that would be done. So once you know your blood sugar, and when they do the blood sugar check, if there's a challenge, they'll pick it up and then they'll do something about it. Because like I said, the symptoms don't develop overnight. It's a gradual process. So, for instance, if you shave and you get a boil, you'd obviously say that it's because I just shaved, that's why I have a boil.
Yeah.
So your mind, you might not put your mind to it. and then eventually after 5-6 years, then they say you are diabetic and now you have kidney failure. If you had actually done something about it 5 years ago, you would not have had the kidney failure. But there's one thing. Let me add this, since it's men's health, because as for men, when they hear this one, then they know that they have to act. Impotence could also be a symptom.
Doctor, where can we check?
So?
Well, no, we should check now. I think we can put the show on hold and go. Go check now.
Go check the
No.
But you have children, so you are very potent.
No, but it develops gradually, because impotence is the final stage. But you can have an issue of premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction, and all these are different. They're not the same thing before you eventually reach the impotence. And this is still because of the sugar under the skin. Now, remember that erection and all this arousal thing is nerves. So when the nerves are stimulated, then you also begin to do certain things. Now, when the sugar goes under the skin, or sugar is toxic to the nerve endings. The nerve endings are what actually pick the sensation. So diabetes is actually the commonest non-traumatic cause of amputations.
Wow.
Yes, so if you remove car accidents or motorbike accidents, the next highest cause of amputation of the leg is actually diabetes. I'm sure you've all heard about people who had a sore under their leg and then they had their leg had to be cut off.
Yeah.
It's because of this nerve damage. So when the sugar goes under the skin, it damages the nerves. So now this person, when this person is walking, he doesn't even feel where he or she is stepping. So I have actually dealt with patients, in the village, she was actually cooking. And you know how they cook with the firewood?
Yeah.
And
Her
then
leg was on fire.
I'm telling you,
she didn't feel
a
it.
piece of the charcoal had broken off, and she had stepped on it. She didn't feel it.
Yeah, how about
Somebody
that?
passing by is what to now as on I see just so it sounds funny, but it's real.
Firebender.
It's real
I bend down.
because the nerves are dead. And I'm saying this to come back to the impotence thing. The same thing that happens in the leg also happens in the penis. As the sugar is deposited under the skin, it kills off the nerves over there, so that you no longer, have any feeling. It doesn't start with no feeling. It will start with some challenges achieving erection, which is the erectile dysfunction, or the erection doesn't last long, or before you can say you have ejaculated. All those things can be a result of diabetes, your poorly controlled diabetes. So we need to get these things checked properly so that we avoid damage. And you see, once the nerves are damaged, you can't do much about it.
How about those who drink water? It's a lifestyle for them. They drink a lot of water. Some of your colleagues do encourage us to be drinking water, not only when we are thirsty.
Doc is drinking water.
Ashok. We should be drinking water, often, right? Now, if you are drinking water often, you are going to be peeing often. Hello. Or diabetes, the peeing, the frequency of the peeing is different from what you are drinking and what you are pushing out. Because I want to believe that if I have a lifestyle where I love sweets, someone will say you have a
sweet tooth.
You have a sweet tooth.
It's not good, please.
It's even a compliment. You have a sweet tooth. You have a sweet tooth. You have a sweet tooth. Today's cupcake. Tomorrow.
You need to send us video evidence of you destroying them. That's the challenge for today.
Today you're eating this, you're eating that because you have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
You have a sweet tooth. But I'm also drinking a lot of water. Where do we meet at the junction?
Which junction? No, the thing is, you see, and I mentioned last week, when you are younger, your body is very, very forgiving. But as you grow older, some of the things that you were doing in your younger days, you have to stop.
Yes, it was evident at the gym.
But now the water issue is always a source of confusion, and I actually touched on it earlier. When some people develop that habit of drinking lots of water, it makes it complicated in terms of clearly distinguishing the urination as a result of the drinking more water or diabetes. But you see, that's where history comes in. Medicine or being a doctor is like what you tell me is what will help me to know what we are doing. So then I'll find out, are you drinking the water purely because of habit, or are you drinking the water because you're actually thirsty? Because here's the thing: if you have to, and this is actually one of the classic symptoms, if you have to wake up in the night to go and drink water because you are thirsty, that usually means that there's something going on.
Shouldn't be thirsty in your sleep.
you are sleeping. Sleep is for rest and recharge. I mean, every now and then you can wake up because you're thirsty. But if it becomes
unless you are walking in the desert in your dream.
Your body should be able to mobilize enough, water in your system to keep you asleep until you actually wake up. But if you have to wake up because I say I'm very, very thirsty, let me go and drink water. It's happening once, happening twice. Like now, it's become a regular routine that you are
take
thirsty.
a bottle to bed.
Yes, it's now so bad that you actually literally carry a bottle and you actually finish the whole bottle in the night. That's a problem. You need to get evaluated to see what's going on.
What if you were eating your dream, but time couldn't permit you to drink the water?
Kneel down.
That some dreams you have is so real.
That one is not hospital matter.
Or
It's psych evaluation. You need psych
or
evaluation.
somebody was chasing you in the dream and Charlie.
You ran in the dream to the point that you are physically thirsty. Hey, olele.
Just by the way, wow. So that's like special case like for that, right?
Yes.
So we don't have to worry about that. What of those who are fitness enthusiasts? As part of their fitness, they need to be taking water a lot just to keep,
Even then, you would hardly wake up in the night because of thirst.
Right.
So that the waking up in the night is critical.
Okay.
You see, because if you are waking and if you sleep, like I said, is for recharging.
Okay.
So if you are waking up so frequently to either urinate or drink water that you actually wake up in the morning and you are tired, that's a challenge. That means that this is no longer a normal routine. This is now an abnormal something going on. So now let's investigate and find out what could be making you wake up so frequently. Now, in the men, as you grow older, one other thing that can complicate or that can, complicate the diagnosis is prostate. Because as your prostate enlarges, and the prostate, if you look at, if you go on the internet, you see the prostate is sitting here. The bladder sits right on top of the prostate, like so. So the prostate sits at we call the bladder neck. So your urethra actually passes through the bladder. Through the prostate. So when the prostate enlarges, it's enlarging outwards and enlarging inwards as well. So it's actually going to compress on the urethra. So now urine is difficult for urine to come out. So men at a certain age, that's what I'm typically above 40, would struggle with prostate. Every man will have prostate enlargement, as we say. Every man will, but not every man's enlargement will end him in a hospital. But every man's prostate enlarges after 40. Okay. So now, and
sorry, we're not talking prostate, but they say frequent sex. That's no.
So the jury is
asking a question.
Oh, we are listening to the answer.
Please go ahead.
The number of viewers that are probably interested in this question.
Sorry, sir.
The jury is still out on that question because some research supports the fact that frequent sex will reduce your risk of prostate cancer. And then other research is like, it doesn't make a difference. So the information is still being gathered. But you see, sex
is being gathered. We can
because sex has plenty benefits. Oh yes.
Because I'm inching towards 40 and I want to find out whether I should increase it or decrease the rate.
I'll increase it.
Doctor, one comment for you. You people they shake us this morning, People, my brothers, you have to listen.
I like coming here because of the demographic. These are things that if we become aware of it now, it will save us a lot of stress. You see, because diabetes is a very
difficult.
Why not mention the person's name?
Oh no, my guy.
He's a coming.
You Sweet tooth, Mr. Sweet Tooth.
Have a sweet tooth in it.
Yeah, he has a sweet tooth.
You got a sweet tooth, huh?
Yeah.
Mr. Hello Wappy.
Because it is a lifestyle disease. So the things you do on a daily basis are what makes the difference. You see, and if you are diabetic, your complications are plenty. Blindness, diabetes is the number 3 cause of cataract, which causes blindness, and it's the sugar, because I mentioned the diffusion. So the sugar will diffuse into the lens. The eye has a lens. It's the lens that makes you see. So when the sugar diffuses into the lens, it's going to make the lens opaque. And that's cataract. And diabetes is one of the leading causes of cataract. So diabetes actually causes blindness.
Wow.
It causes kidney failure. It causes and before I forget, diabetes and hypertension, they are like, they're like tight bodies. If diabetes goes first, hypertension will come in. Then if hypertension goes first, diabetes will come in. So the two literally go hand in hand. So typically, if you are diabetic, for instance, you would actually you'd be treated for hypertension at an earlier cut off. Because if both of them combine, the damage is more catastrophic. So we want to actually treat you earlier.
Please, dog. Slow. If I don't slow this one down, the way boys start fear.
I won't cry.
I won't cry. Dog, I want to go back to an area that is of great concern to a lot of us. The lifestyle diabetes you mentioned.
Yes.
So what is the lifestyle because on a regular, I want to know what I need to be doing and what I'm doing. Drink once in a while. I drink some soda, some fizzy drink.
Only
I drink water.
While.
Oh yeah, once in a while. Recently, that I just started sometimes buying 1 or 2 in the fridge. But now I speed where I fear small, so I'm taking my time on that. But water, it is. I tried very hard. I think a whole year went sometime back in 2018 or 2019 where I just took only water throughout the whole year. I was staying away from eating and drinking soda or juice or just water, and then my fruits. I tried that year because I saw someone's experience, and it shook me at Kolebu. So yeah. So I want to understand the lifestyle. What is the regular habits that we should stay away from or we should encourage? Because I don't know how much sugar is in what. We go and chop fufu from here.
Yeah.
The night times you go swallow some banku, maybe beggar, and things. You see, as I mentioned the things, he knows what he eats.
He's confessing. It's not about me.
I can see. All right, so you see, lifestyle basically we are talking about your diet and your daily activities. And I'm on a campaign to help corporate workers because they are the ones suffering the most in this regard. You see, and we touched on it last week as well. You wake up in the morning, you have some breakfast, or you don't have breakfast. You get to work, a lot of finger foods, traffic food. You are buying plantain chips in traffic. You are buying this in traffic. Both fruit here, both fruits there. All these things. It adds up, right? In the afternoon, you're going to eat banku or fufu or red.
Are you saying that the buffalo, there's something wrong with it?
I'll get there.
You wait.
And then in the evening too, you've had ampesi. Everything you have eating is actually sugar. Right?
In one form or the other.
Exactly. And the worst form of sugar is actually the one that you add to the food.
The
processed one. So now, let's say you got cocoa in the morning. You've added sugar. You drank Coke in the afternoon. That's pretty much sugar. In the evening too, something on the side.
You poured ketchup.
Exactly.
Sugar.
So you're all through the day, you are building up sugar. Then on the other hand, your physical activity level is very low. So whereas you are giving yourself so much fuel, so much sugar, you are not using enough of it. So the body now begins to store the fuel to be used in the future. That's how your body is set up. Your body doesn't waste energy. It will store the energy for future use. But that future never comes because tomorrow you are going to eat another sugar. So you begin
Just say, I have built a warehouse.
I'm telling you.
Of sugar.
I'm telling you.
In my system. Wow.
Okay.
So then you begin to gain weight because the store of energy is fat. So when you eat sugar that you don't use, it is stored as fat for future use. So fat is basically a warehouse of energy waiting to be used, but that use never comes. Then because your fat is being built up, it now begins to affect your insulin's how insulin is supposed to work. So that's where the insulin resistance begins. So insulin resistance is directly proportional to your fat content or your body's fat level. So the more fat you have, the higher your insulin resistance. So your body is forced to produce more and more insulin. At some point, it's not able to do anymore. So then your blood sugar begins to build up, and now they say you are diabetic. So now, lifestyle, what do? You need to cut down how much sugar you are taking in and increase your physical activity.
Okay. So that's the problem because you see, we are eating fufu, we are eating PCA, we are eating, So how? Because I wanted just an idea of a day and what I should work on. I know you're not a dietitian, but just give me an idea.
You see, even the dietitians would struggle to give you an idea because it depends on what you do.
Yeah. It's more about the burning.
Exactly. So let's look at how the situation was in the past. In the past, there were not that many cars in Ghana, so people were walking a lot. So when they eat their banku in the afternoon or their fufu in the evening, they burn off that excess through the day by walking everywhere. Exactly, everywhere they were going. Now today, there are more cars in the system, there's more traffic. So you actually spend a longer time sitting than you do walking. Then you get to the office too, you are sitting some more. Which is why I mentioned that lunch is actually one of the easiest meals to skip because it makes sense. if you skip lunch or you replace lunch with a fruit, you actually help yourself in the sense that you
Like
reduce,
banana and groundnuts.
Yes, banana and groundnuts is actually a very good thing to replace.
Roasted plantain and groundnuts.
And also, so in
What about Kelly?
You have to fry your own.
Uh-huh.
You have to fry your own.
The fry.
You have to fry your own.
Sweet Tooth Association.
Your man chop and raw. You grill them. Your own, they pour oil.
Yesterday I ate Kelly 80 this tray.
Hey, you alone.
Guy, kneel down.
No, you know that kind of eating when you are just sitting down and you are just,
The tray crack you me. Say 8 cities. Tray.
So here, some of the habits that you need to actually cut out is actually eating in between meals.
Okay.
If you want to eat healthy, of course, the amount of food counts, but also you need to dedicate time for eating. Research has shown that if you actually sit down to eat, like this is my eating time, you eat less, right? But if you are eating in a distracted state, you end up eating more. So if that kelewele, for instance, if you had actually sat down to eat kelewele, you probably are eating only one. But because you're eating a small and you're probably doing something on the phone or on the computer, you kept eating and
The body is not registering it.
Exactly, it's not
eating.
registering it. So typically, that's why if you speak to the medics or the dietitian, you're not supposed to keep a TV in your kitchen or your dining area. You should focus when it's time to eat. It's time to eat. No phone, nothing. Eat. Focus and eat. You eat faster and you eat smaller.
You shouldn't be doing LPMs with your food.
Exactly that.
You.
And then again, as you grow older, added sugar is something that you need to cut out. That one is not negotiable. Cut out added sugar. If you are drinking cocoa in the morning or you are drinking cocoa in the morning, if you can, don't even add any sugar at all. It's because it's not going to be helpful to you. Wow. But if you're going to add sugar, you need to move from the more processed white sugar to the less processed brown sugar or even honey. Unprocessed honey for that matter. Because once the item is processed, the impact on your health is higher. So what I usually say is that anything white you need to avoid. So white rice, white flour, white sugar. That one is not medical advice.
That was not medical advice.
I saw this video of this guy who he had been told that if he wants to be successful, he should avoid obakoko. So he was walking down the road on the lane and then he saw a woman coming and crossed the road.
Look, let's talk about fruit juice.
So equally like
I want to talk about fruit juice.
But okay,
fruits and fruit juice.
No, I want to talk about fruit juice.
Fruit juice, yeah.
Any with fruits, I mean that one is raw.
No. Fruits is
orange
not,
juice. I mean,
the doctor can
let's talk about fruits.
Give clarity better.
Juice.
Okay.
There's firstly for banana, they say there's local banana and there is abrochi banana. Which one is good for us? Because now I'm confused.
So from where I sit, all banana is banana. Really, there are just different variants. A bit, because even the local banana crowd, there's banana from Ashanti, there's banana from wherever. They are all different in terms of their nitty gritty. Because the soil is grown in will impact what nutrients eventually land inside the fruit. But ultimately, they are all the same.
Right.
Now, the thing about fruit juices is that not all fruit juices are natural. It doesn't matter what they say on the box. So you need to pay
preservatives.
you need to pay attention to what is in there. Because if the fruit juice you are drinking is artificial coloring with sugar and all those things, it's the same thing. Yeah, it's added sugar. You are causing problems for yourself. It's processed sugar. A natural fruit juice is better for you, or natural fruit is better for you because the natural fruit also has fiber. And fiber plays a key role. Fiber actually holds some of the sugar and it doesn't allow everything to be absorbed. Do you understand? And that's how fiber actually makes your stool soft because fiber kind of keeps water and softens the stool.
Right.
So if you're not eating enough fiber, your stool is hard. You get constipation. You end up developing hemorrhoids and other co-mininis, you see. Wow. So fruits are perfect. Fruits and vegetables actually they have they have antioxidants, they have the micronutrients, they have the fiber to help you. If you switch to the juices, especially some people would do smoothie, right, which is technically a good thing, but then they'll strain it and then leave all the fiber. Exactly, and so all the fiber, everything is left out. It's really not going to be helpful much to you. You need the fiber. And that's why the box juice tends to not be a good thing. So if you cannot replace your fruits with the box juices. No, they are not. They are not in competition.
I'm saying this because people saying that if you have to not take soda, which is the soft drinks, we call soft drinks. Oh, then fruit juice is the way. Oh, then
fruits are the way. Fruit juice is there maybe once in a while. But like I said, you cannot substitute the fruit with the fruit juice. Except it's the juice that you are making yourself and pouring it. So after you blend the orange, you pour everything and then you now drink the whole. And then the fiber is in there.
Doc, what's your Twitter handle, please?
Why you want to kill us?
No. I just want
Kelvin Owusu MD.
Okay, please, it's at Kelvin Owusu MD. Okay. All right. The reason I am tagging, there it is. I'm tagging you is there's a video of Three Music has posted of Olele eating, drinking cocoa with a lot of sugar and no fruit.
With too much sugar.
I don't even take
no fruit.
I don't even take cocoa with that much sugar, Jay.
I just want to. No one that we will decide the content of it. So I just want to draw your attention to this and save my brother.
Very, very necessary.
No, but Doc, even talking about cocoa, for example, I think for me, when I'm buying cocoa, I always ask the woman or the lady not to give it too much sugar. Because sometimes I feel like they want to really finish the sugar in the container, so they scoop a huge amount of sugar and they put the cocoa. And sometimes when you are drinking from the rubber, it doesn't
work so well.
It doesn't work so well, and the sugar is trapped underneath, right? And that is where we have reached a promised land. So now we squeeze it and we drink it as a reward to ourselves.
No, it's true.
Is that good or bad?
It's bad. Ideally, you see, and you are very right. So, I mean, on the occasion that I've had to buy cocoa, I don't allow them to actually do the sugar for me. You give me the sugar on the side, I'll put my own sugar inside. Because they naturally tend to put in too much sugar. So whereas the cocoa itself is actually good because cocoa has a lot of roughage in there. So it's good. It's good. But then we negate the goodness by adding the sugar. See, the difference, let's understand the difference between the complex sugars and then the processed sugar. Complex sugar is called complex because it's a huge sugar. Okay. So your body first of all cannot absorb that huge sugar. Right. So even though it tastes sweet, it's good. I mean, it tastes sweet in your mouth. When it actually gets into your stomach, the body is not able to absorb everything, So digestion has to go on. And so once digestion begins, it will take some and then to lose some. So that's why, let's say, a pineapple that is very sweet, you take it, even a diabetic can take a pineapple and it will not impact their blood sugar so should I say rapidly. But give that same diabetic Coca-Cola to drink and in a few minutes the blood sugar shoots up. In fact, in the hospital, if somebody comes in with hypoglycemia, that's low sugar, we just prescribe Coca-Cola.
Yeah, because it's just too much.
Just to shoot it up.
Yeah. You just massa Coca-Cola and Ben that's all. And it actually works, especially if you're in a resource-poor area where you don't have access to, maybe the proper medical equipment to do that. Yeah. Please give the guy Coca-Cola right now. And so it tells you how fast the sugar in Coke or sugar in processed sugar actually gets into your blood.
This week.
What of alcoholic drinks?
So alcohol.
People also say that it's an escape.
So alcohol is a bit of a how do I put it? Is it a quagmire or something? It's difficult to explain. Alcohol technically does not have sugar per se.
Yes.
But alcohol does provide some calories. We call it empty calories. So people can actually drink alcohol and get full. But over time, especially if they become chronic alcoholics, they tend to lose weight because the calories in alcohol cannot sustain you. But because when you drink it, you feel full, they tend to skip their meals.
Okay.
So the typical chronic alcoholic,
it's just a placeholder. It's just
kinda
system.
So they tend to lose weight. So that's why when they say inside trying the picture, you can actually see you see somebody who is pretty emaciated, malnourished. So alcohol is a tricky thing.
It makes your brain think you are full, but
it's not just the brain thing. This one is not. It's beyond the brain thing. You are full. It actually makes you full because there's some
no
calories
nutrients
in there. Yes.
So it's like eating an empty A4. You understand? It's like putting your thesis, but the pages are empty.
That's quite graphic.
Is that not it?
So I want to do some self because this one is
the way you've been quiet. Yeah, I'm sure you are going to go and burn your kitchen.
Because Doc, this lately, every morning, what I try to, and I'm speaking because I know a lot of people will probably adapt to this lifestyle. And just I'm putting myself on the editing bench so we can chop me up nicely. So I'm taking, the regular 3-in-1, as my breakfast, in my flask. So I'm picking that up from my fellow brother cereal. When he comes in the morning, he's sipping. So I'm doing that in my morning. In the afternoon, what I want to do is to shift to some smoothie and some wrap, and then even I can eat my dinner, something like that. Dog, it be cool.
So now, it's better. However, like I said, the fact that you are sipping on the thing small, is not good. You need to eat and move on.
Okay.
So stop whatever you are doing, eat and move on.
Exactly.
Okay.
So eat, finish, and then now go and do whatever else you need to do. And then another time, it's time to eat.
Okay.
You eat, and then you do whatever needs to be done. But what is missing then is now the physical activity. Because if that physical activity is not there, then you are going to store fat. So it doesn't matter how small you are eating per se, except that you understand your how do you call this, the caloric deficit. I mean, there's some technical calculation. Except you actually understand this, and I know now there are some apps that you can take a picture of your food and to actually calculate the calories for you and tell you that this food is too much or that like that. If you have all those resources, then you know that okay, I need to eat let's say 100 calories. So then this one I'm eating is 95 calories. So then I don't have to do physical activity. But if you don't have all those resources available, then you need to do the physical activity because physical activity has additional benefits, and again we are talking about men, right? If you want to perform well in bed, you need to improve your cardio.
My bed performance there, that one there, I can proudly say that my bed performance there.
Which advert?
My brother.
Advert.
I'm a bedder.
This
Captain S videos.
This I'm
advert.
bedder one. Thank you very much.
This advert is vetted and approved.
Bed.
But how would you know?
What are you saying now? Doc, you see someone like J. Foley?
Yeah.
He can eat anything in this world.
It's not good.
It's not good, brother. Why are you using me as an example? You see someone like
use your folio as
This matter you have actually reminded me. Thank you. So
They eat whatever, they don't put on weight, you don't see anything happening.
in the past year, I've actually been doing an informal
research.
Research kind of thing. And what I realized that there are a lot more skinny people with cholesterol issues than overweight people.
Talk to us.
And it's actually because of the mindset that I don't put on weight, so I can eat anything I want.
Yeah, so the abuse.
Good
So they are
metabolism.
abusing everything. Charlie, anything that passes in front of them, they'll eat some. Because that's for me, Charlie, I don't gain weight. And so they are accumulating a lot of cholesterol in their blood vessels. And this is actually what would then lead to hypertension because cholesterol will now also then narrow the blood vessel. So now your heart has to do a lot more work. So there are a lot more skinny people.
Slim things, Monkoso.
I'm telling you.
Monkoso. Look at me, go. Look at me. One pack for life.
Charlie, you're not going to finish me.
Someone here is asking a very interesting question. About 5 minutes ago, his name is Jay, aka One Extra. Says, so can fasting be considered for burning excess or stored sugar in the body?
It's possible. I mean, now people there's this trend where they are doing intermittent fasting and all that. It's not the fasting per se. It's the effect of the fasting on the calories. You see, because calories, so the units for energy is calories. So, sugar is what would be burned into energy. So basically, they are trying to regulate how much calories they are getting. So that the body would not lack energy because the body would then fall back on the fat to provide the energy. So once you are taking in less food, the old food will be used. But you see, it's easier for the body to burn the new food you've eaten than the old food. So every time you eat, the burning of the fat will stop.
Okay.
Because it's very complicated.
I
mean, Charlie, when we're doing biochemistry, that's metabolism, it not be easy. You have to write essay on that thing. Master, one of the most complicated things you can ever think about. So obviously, the body also knows that, Charlie, this thing is complicated, so I don't want to do that. I prefer that you eat right now.
So that I burn it.
So that that one day will be straightforward. So once you eat right now, the fat burning process will end. So the concept of fasting or intermittent fasting is that I'm not going to eat so that I'll allow my body to burn the fuel I already have. Right. So you literally force your body to burn the fat. So yes, fasting can help.
And how long?
However, you need to know what you are doing because if you don't do it right, you might end up with a peptic ulcer, and that's another level of complication.
That's what I was going to ask. Because if per the education we just received, okay, I want the old fat because I have a pot belly or I'm growing a pot belly, so I want the old fat to be worked on. So I'm maybe doing water fasting and maybe doing some exercise. But come on, I also want to lose my pot belly. Where do I reconcile the two, or how do I reconcile the two?
So just the thing for me is that, I mean, and I mean, this is my line of work. People, it took you years to gain the weight you have gained right now, but you want to lose it in 2 weeks. And that is where the challenge is.
Oh, but the
Summer
wedding
body.
is coming.
I know,
Summer-
right? But you see,
summer
but
body.
the wedding has been coming for 6 months. Why did you wait until the fitting to realize that I'm not fitting in the dress? Let me now do
So I
this.
bought Kilewille 8CD3.
So people want to lose weight rapidly, and that is where the problem begins. You see, so then they are doing all sorts of aggressive tactics you see, and it's not
Keto,
and then they end up in the emergency room and Charlie with complications.
about you meat, the stomach still there. Keto. Bring them. Chop the whole nowhere sack.
So you need to understand that just as the weight didn't come overnight, its loss will also not come overnight. And I keep saying this thing: dieting is supplementary to something else. So if all you do is intermittent fasting, yes, you lose the weight, but the minute you stop the intermittent fasting, the weight will come rushing back. Like when they cast out the demon and he goes to search for 7 others, and then it will come rushing back even faster, because you haven't actually dealt with the primary thing that caused the weight to build up, which are the habits, your eating habits, your exercise habits, your sleeping habits, because poor sleep also makes you gain weight. So if you are not sleeping well, if you are sleeping on the wrong mattress, you are using the wrong pillow, or somebody is stressing you in the night.
I didn't sleep well.
All these
Production, please, can I have water, please?
I didn't sleep well. No. Doc, you said it. I love it. We can close. No, so that's what's happening to me. Fake is not the food. We didn't sleep well.
Let's fast forward now to the end stages. So yes, I do need water. I'll be very glad if I will get water.
He means cocoa, but he's afraid.
So let's fast forward to the end. We spoke about the symptoms, right? We have just about 4 minutes left. So, at what point in time would you realize that this is not looking good?
So I mentioned that when, for instance, your frequent urinating is affecting your sleep, it's not a good thing, because you wake up tired. It begins to affect your productivity at work. You know that we have to do something about it. So that's on the physical, face-to-face, productivity side. But on the other hand, if you begin to have complications like kidney failure, for instance, or even heart complications, cataract, that this is getting serious. We need to do something about it. But for me, I would even wish we prevented these damages from happening in the first place, because when these damages begin, most of them are not even reversible. So we don't even want to get there. Wow. So what I'm saying is that let's get into the habit of frequent screenings. At least once every year. You need to get yourself evaluated, so that if there's a problem, it is picked up early, and then we can deal with it early. Because and Cyril mentioned pre-diabetes. There's a stage just before the diabetes, which is called the pre-diabetes. Same for hypertension, actually, where everything is actually reversible. Like anything before that point, I mean, in that pre-diabetes phase, if you actually deal with it well, it's reversible even without medication, just by adopting the right lifestyle. But once you enter the diabetes stage, it is not lifestyle anymore. We need to treat you. We need to give medication. And you see, to be honest, every medication has side effects. Even water has side effects. Food has side effects. So you can't expect that you are taking medication and it will not have an effect on you. But we have to use a cost benefit. Is the negative effect more than the positive effect? If the answer is no, then you have to be on medication, because once the sugar crosses a certain threshold, you cannot go and sit in the house and hope. No. You have to treat. Otherwise, the complication rate is very, very high.
And it's more expensive when you do that.
Foley, why you drink the water or finish?
What is just a quick one? What is the estimated cost for doing these checkups? I think sometimes the fear is also, it's expensive, it's this. But I think we are also making
I think it will ultimately be cheaper than a funeral.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That was going to be my first
the impression. So for the average Ghanaian who would want to take this as a lifestyle, to go get checked maybe twice every year or once every year, what is the estimated cost for a man?
So it depends. I mean, there are several levels or there are several packages, and also depends on where you go. But I mean, anywhere from 100 cedis all the way to 3,000-4,000 cedis can get you some form of checkup. Depending on how some are even more than that. Depends on how comprehensive you want to do it and how frequent you want to do it. So and it's once a year. If it's once a year, you need to prepare. I mean, the challenge for a lot of us Ghanaians is that we wait.
We are reactive to
We are
health.
reactive, So let's prepare. I need to do an annual checkup. It's going to cost me 200 Ghana. I want to do it, let's say, 3 months from now. So put something aside and get it done. Because if you don't get it done, like Cyril said, it is more costly to treat diabetes than it is to prevent the diabetes. You see, so and if diabetes runs in your family, this is the part I don't even understand. There are people who have diabetes in their family. Their mother is diabetic. Their senior brother is diabetic.
Still being
and
reckless.
this guy. He's just going about doing his own thing like nothing is at stake. You see, I have people who your mother's leg was cut off because of diabetes, and you are just there.
Doc, lastly, our time is up. We have to go now. But I don't know if sorry, our time is up. We have to go now. But I don't know if water maybe it dilutes.
It's too late, bro.
I mean,
how
many years? Yeah. One water,
one
bottle
unless
of
you
water.
drown, bro.
Are you serious?
Unless you find swimming pool.
Hey, are you playing?
Water is definitely a good thing. So please drink enough water because we are in a hot climate. So drink water. Don't say that because of diabetes you don't drink the water.
Dog, that's that you need to drink water when you wake up. Is it true? First thing.
It's not true. I mean, drink water anytime you feel like drinking
so
water.
Wake up in the morning first and drink water so that you flush the system and make it ready for all the food.
Me have as the kilo only 8 CDs, no 21 CDs. Now dilute and be that. As against the small cocoa.
From here go poo. Then just go sit inside.
Charlie, let's try and keep healthy.
Definitely.
Very important.
Definitely.
Doc, thank you so very much for joining us. One more time, don't forget on the 24th of June this month, there will be a blood donation exercise at Violet's Medical Center. It's in Musuku Runabout, Kwabenya, around Ankama Drive, if I want to be specific. The number to call if you want more inquiries is 0302 410 630 or 0540 599 383. A blood donation with Dr. Kelvin will be happening. So please, we are encouraging all of you to be there. Kobe Che.
Sweet tooth.
Hashtag sweet tooth. Thank you very much, Doc. Really appreciate it. And I encourage all of you as well. Drink water, stay healthy. Cyril, you now understood that
Slim Things is not winning.
Slim Things is not winning.
Slim Things is not winning.
On that note, I'll tell you something. We're back again same time tomorrow right here on Culture Daily, and we're out.